to sue us for stealing their childhoods.
We often hear the kids nowadays have it easy, but a new documentary, or an old one, is saying it's the complete opposite. The new information coming up. Also, are you ready for the high school football playoffs? We have you covered with all the action that's already going on right now. But if high school sports action is not enough for you, UTEP is bringing the fun back this weekend to the Borderland ×3 with the best athletes that it's ever had, both past and present. In storm track weather, what are you tracking for the weekend, Nichole?
Well, I'll let you know what you can expect if you have any plans to attend the UTEP games. We're also tracking a cold front. What does that mean for the weekend and the start of your work week? That answer coming up in your full storm track weather forecast.
It's all next on ABC-7 at 9 on the CW. Get ready. You become part of the news right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
Everyone expects us to be superheroes.
You have a fear from the parents that my kid needs to be able to get a job.
Are your kids overwhelmed with schoolwork? Are they stressed out because you and their teachers expect too much of them? Well, this documentary is saying the education system in America is making kids sick and leaving them unprepared for the real world. It's called A Race to Nowhere, and it's already played in more than 7,000 schools nationwide. Now it's in El Paso, and it's buzzing on our social media network tonight. Good evening, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us on ABC-7 at 9 on this Friday. I'm Bob Harp, and you're watching the only newscast in the borderland that makes you a part of the day's news every day. All right, you need to get connected with us on social media if you haven't already. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at ABC7 Breaking. And on Facebook, you can search for KVIA.com. And then, of course, our main homepage, our mothership, as we call it, KVIA.com. So tonight, we are asking, is there too much pressure on students to be successful later in life? Do kids have too much homework? Let us know. Reporter Jerry Nahara has a closer look at that documentary. Behind the discussion coming up in just a little bit. But also coming up tonight, you are part of the UTEP celebration, the Centennial Bash. Fans like you handpicked the school's all-time best athletes, and they are being honored this weekend and at tonight's basketball games, and then the football game tomorrow at the Sun Bowl. Before we get to all of that, though, we need to know what the weather's like for all the games, especially at the Sun Bowl. Here's a live look at downtown El Paso with our exclusive mountain cam. And Nichole, you are tracking some nice weather tonight. I walked outside. I wasn't freezing.
It's a nice little change, right, to walk out and not have to bundle up. But we are tracking another cold front. We'll get to those details in your full forecast. But let's talk about the nice weather that we did see today on our ABC7 WeatherNet site, sponsored by the Mattress Firm. 68 is what we hit at Mattress Firm. 55 degrees is the current temperature. It's 58 just outside of our studio. 67 was the high that we hit today. Now our feature temperatures showing us that we are seeing those chilly temperatures, but not quite as cold as we have seen for the past few days. So that's some good news. 11 o'clock in your Saturday, temperatures will gradually warm to the 60s. So overall, a very nice weekend. Similar to today, 65 is what we hit today, 67 in Las Cruces. So coming up in your full forecast, we will talk about the warm air, the warmer temperatures, and if we're expecting more wind and more rain. So that's coming up in storm track weather, but we're going to switch gears just a little bit here for a minute. Now get those smartphones, tablets, and computers ready.
Wait, I left my computer and smartphone over here. Hey, I'm sure that you all have something to say about a documentary, and it says that American children are simply worked too hard, saying that they're too stressed and overworked, therefore they're unprepared and simply uninspired for college and then the real world.
Of course, that's what's on our social media buzz right now, and ABC7's Jerry Nahara is live tonight with a look at Race to Nowhere. Hey, Jerry.
How's it going, guys? Now, this documentary was shown during a PTA meeting at Wiggs Middle School, and what the film does is question our nation's education system, from parents to teachers and all the way to college. Take a look.
School's just so much pressure that every day I would wake up dreading it.
I'm afraid that our children are going to sue us for stealing their childhoods.
I think it's a movie that parents, faculty, staff, administrators, district superintendent level, everybody that has anything to do with young people in America should see this film.
Stephanie Otero is a mother of 2 children. She attended the Wiggs Middle School PTA meeting during which the documentary Race to Nowhere was shown.
The film is really about the pressure that young people feel at a younger and younger age to be successful, and that everything they're doing is leading to whether or not they're going to get into a great college and have a great job.
Otero tells me she's seen the shift in the school's priorities throughout the years.
You know, it used to be kindergarten was playing and numbers and Play-Doh and blocks, and now it's like you have to be able to read, and if your kid doesn't read by 5, you know, did I do something wrong as a parent?
The film also touches on unintended consequences from the pressure students face.
I couldn't cope.
Race to Nowhere's director Vicki Abel was a mother who saw her daughter face anxiety and ultimately physical distress. Other parents shown in the film have seen more severe consequences, like suicide.
I've gone through bouts of depression just because you feel so swamped.
I almost had an emotional breakdown.
The reason the film is called Race to Nowhere is it's a quote from one of the students. And he said, you know, I would do this, and they said, okay, now you have to get to here, and now you have to get to here. And he says, and I felt like I was on a race to nowhere, that there was no finish line.
Otero says many of the parents who saw the film with her left with a clear message.
You got to keep an eye on your kid. You have to make sure that earning trophies and getting perfect grades is not the only thing you praise your child for.
And if you're interested in watching the documentary, you can order it from racetonowhere.com. We'll have that link posted online in a few minutes. Bob?
All right, thanks so much, Jerry, for that live report.
And we're asking, is there too much pressure on students to be successful later in life? Do kids have too much homework? Tell us what you think on our Facebook page right now.
All right, Nichole, I have to say I think kids are worked pretty hard, but that, in my opinion, makes them stronger, more goal-oriented adults. No?
It just kind of depends. Work can stress them out, and they don't want to do anything.
Parent, not a parent. See, like, you know, different sides of the story here. And this story had a lot of us buzzing in the newsroom today, chiming in. You know, we were all a kid at one time. We all had to do homework. We all had to go to school. So this is something that we can all relate to. Let's get to some of your comments right now. Okay, this is from Dean. When I went to school in Ohio, the teachers taught us from a book. You had some homework for each class. The teacher gave a test. If you passed each class, you moved to the next grade. Here, teachers teach the test at the end of the year. I think the students are not being taught the best way possible.
And Al says, a half hour for each class was the norm when I was in high school. Never enough pressure. You're either ready to succeed at a job out of high school or succeed at academics. There's no middle ground. The only other choice is to be the eternal loser.
All right, we have much more of your comments coming up right here on ABC-7 at 9. Now, don't go anywhere, Nichole. We're not done with you yet. We still need your forecast, of course. But first, we're talking about some high school playoffs today. The 2014 playoff season is now underway, and these are the games happening right now. It's serious business. We have Chapin and Del Valle. That's our game of the week. Then Americas is on the road looking to beat Lubbock Monterey. Tonight, we also have Las Cruces and Artrisco Heritage. You might remember Las Cruces is down to 5 players after that fight last week with Mayfield. They were suspended 1 game. Those 5 players were. Now you can look for scores and highlights tonight on ABC-7 at 10 and the Borderland Blitz. And we're also talking about some games last night that happened. This was the big one out at Midland with Franklin, and it could have been one of the best football games an El Paso team has been involved with all year. The Cougars taking on Amarillo Tascosa, and the second series, the star quarterback, Baylor Romney, he would keep it, and then seconds later he would go down hard. He never would return to the game. However, you see there, more action would continue to happen in the second half. The Cougars were down 28-14. They would eventually start to rally in this game. And then the Cougars just unfortunately could not hold on to it at the end. They ended up losing that game. Final score was 31-28. The Franklin Cougars put on a great show, though.
I'm proud of the kids and not giving up. You know, they're a 4-quarter team. They've had that motto all off season and in the summer program, and they just believe in each other. They're going to come back and win this thing. And yeah, it hurts when you lose a quality player like that with the experience that Baylor brought to the table, but same token, that's part of the game. So someone's got to step up when that happens, and you know, we came up just a little bit short tonight.
By the way, El Dorado lost its game in Midland yesterday to Amarillo High School. That score was 41-27. Well, up next for the Canutillo Eagles, the winner of the Canyon and San Angelo Lakeview game. Canutillo, the state's 10th ranked team, won its 10th straight game last night by beating Isleta. The score there, 63-28. Northeast El Paso, Andress High School moving on in the playoffs. The Eagles beat Bel Air last night 42-14. Andress will get the winner of tonight's game between Canyon Randall and Abilene Cooper. The Eastwood Troopers, they were knocked out last night. Wolfforth Friendship proving to be too much for the Troop. The final score there, 52-21. And you are always a member of the ABC-7 sports team. Just search Borderland Blitz on Facebook or hashtag Borderland Blitz on Twitter. You can post your photos. You can give us your final scores. Then, of course, join our guys right here for the Borderland Blitz at 10:35. Well, still ahead on ABC-7 at 9 tonight, UTEP Sports. The women's basketball team facing off against NMSU. That's a good rivalry there. And the men are taking on Washington State right now. All you Miner fanatics actually voted on who should make that Centennial team or the best players of all time. While they are honored this weekend, we are asking, who do you think are the best players? Who are your favorite UTEP athletes of all time and why? Let us know on Facebook and Twitter. We also have the day's other headlines after the break. A woman hit by a car in El Paso this morning did not survive. Plus, we have an update now on that dog that was shot by an El Paso police officer yesterday. Witnesses saying it was attacking the officer. You are not alone if you've been talking about some video going viral today. A baby elephant fighting off a pack of lions. He's okay. A little bit later, we'll show it to you, or you can go to our Facebook page right now. Yeah, I have to stress, that guy made it. Nichole?
Well, I am tracking a cold front and stronger winds. I'll let you know when we can expect those changes to the forecast coming up in Storm Track Weather.
You are now part of the Borderlands' biggest stories. This is ABC 7 at 9. We'll be right back.